Let's begin with Doodly 101, your Doodly beginner walkthrough. This video tutorial was created with version 2.5.6, but the walkthrough will help you learn any Doodly version. Hi, I'm Wayne, the creator of this free video content. Nice to meet you. In just a bit, I'm going to show you content that's designed to show you 1 minute and 30 seconds of different video design techniques, try to make you laugh, all the while telling you how you can support this channel free of charge. If you're someone that feels the thousands of hours I've spent creating free content for you is not worth the 1 minute and 30 seconds of your time, simply use the chapters feature I've taken the time to create in this video and skip over it. Just move your mouse over the video timeline and click on the next chapter. For those of you that do appreciate the time I've taken, here it is, and thanks for watching. This free video tutorial took billions of light years to create. YouTube judges a channel by subscribers, likes, shares, and video hours watched. We only ask, for all our hard work, please use those buttons and let this video run until the end. Thank you. Easily support this channel free of charge. Here are some methods. Click that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. This video is monetized. Let the video run all the way to the end. The ad revenue, as little as it is, helps support this channel. Join our Facebook group. You'll find a link in the description. You'll receive group status with me and other experienced doodlers and video designers ready to help. Share these videos with other people you know and even people you don't, whether it's in the official Doodly Facebook group or somewhere else. The more people that watch and comment, the more videos I'll create. Join Production Crate through the link in our description. They have a free account and some of the best video designing effects I've found on the internet, along with tutorials, so you know how to use them and can create effects like what you'll see throughout this video series. YouTubers! Reference back to our video in your video or video description. We would be appreciative of a link back to our channel or a plug in your video showing us our hard work paid off. Let us know about it so we can return the kindness. Contact us if you want to get a little more creative and learn how to pass traffic amongst channels. We are going to learn a lot in Chapter 7, but it goes fairly quickly. We're going to learn how to work with your project files like saving, previewing, exporting your files. Exporting will include several different items such as naming your video, different file formats available to us, scary words like resolution, quality, and custom width and height. Don't let any of those words scare you. We'll take it step by step. Next up, we're going to learn about scene settings. There is a lot to learn inside here. Things like different canvas types, drawing hand settings, drawing hand styles, exit animations, subtitles, and rainbow will be taught in this section. They are very easy to grasp, but we're not done there. We follow that up with zoom functionality, incorrectly called tools in this version. Finally, we take a detailed look at the layers section and learn about delays, duration time, and auto scroll. So grab your coffee, drink, or snack and let's show you some of these actions and provide explanations. The Save button is a green button in the upper right hand corner of Doodly. If the Save button is gray, you cannot save the doodle. There are some issues with getting that Save button to turn green. Not all actions within Doodly will cause the Save button to turn green. There are some minor actions that can happen in Doodly that will not cause the Save button to turn green, such as checking the Snap to Grid checkbox. Most of the items that do not affect the green Save button do not directly affect your doodle. When the Save button is clicked, it will turn gray to signify that there are no additional changes that need to be saved. The blue Preview button shows a window of your doodle playing at 10 frames per second. It can appear laggy and non-responsive. This is very different from the 30 frames per second embedded video preview that is shown from clicking the Show Preview button. If we scrub back to the beginning and click the play button, we can see a more fluid video preview in comparison to the preview button. There are times the video preview from the show preview button lags severely. If this happens, pause the video, scrub back to the original starting spot, and play again. Exporting a video provides us several options. The change button has a dual purpose. It allows you to change the location of where you want to export the doodle, but also allows you to change the file name for which you want to save the doodle. Simply erase the current name, replacing it with a new one, and keeping the file extension, and click the Save button. Voila! A new name now shows up in the location area. File format allows a file export of a .mp4 file, or technically known as MPEG-4 Part 14. This stands for Moving Pictures Export Group, and is the most common file format on the internet. But what you may not be aware of is MP4 files are patented technology, mainly owned by 3 companies. Mitsubishi Electric has 255 patents, Hitachi has 206 patents, and Panasonic has 200 patents. MKV, or Matroska, is a free open standard format that has amazing compression capabilities but may not be compatible with different social media platforms or software. An OGG Vorbis compressed audio file is used for holding audio data, and it's mainly seen on Android phones or tablets. And a .webm file designed by Google uses combined VP8 video and .ogg audio technology and derived from the Matroska container for a resulting phenomenal compression and lower file size without sacrificing noticeable quality. .webm files have caught support for most of the digital browsers for viewing on websites except for Safari by Apple. They do not natively support on operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, or iOS, but they can be used to upload doodles to YouTube, but may not be compatible with direct social media uploading like Instagram. Resolution is how clear the exported video will appear on a screen if you blow it up to full screen. The correct resolution depends on your target market's medium. If you're only going after cheaper and older phones, then a lower resolution like 360p is perfectly fine because the screens have less pixels going across them. However, if you're going after people with newer phones, tablets, and computers, then 1080p is where you want to be, as there are more pixels going across those phones, and the increasing size of your doodles will make the video appear blurry on these devices. All our doodles are exported at 1920 by 1080, 60 frames per second, and 100% quality. The rendering times for that combination is insanely long with Doodly, but in our frequently asked questions, we explained how to combat lengthy rendering times in Doodly. When getting to Facebook and Instagram, this doesn't consider the IGTV of Instagram. Your doodle must be exported at 1920 by 1080 to be compatible with IGTV. Custom allows for creating even bigger doodle exports like 3840 by 2160 or 4K. Just keep in mind, the largest image that can be imported into Doodly at this time is 1920 by 1080, which means getting very creative if a full 4K background is desired unless you're using SVG files which are scalable. FPS, or frames per second, are how many frames appear in 1 second to make something. FPS is used to determine how smooth the video appears when showing motion. Doodly videos sometimes suffer from shaking. Allowing the video to cache itself by using the Show Preview button prior to exporting and then exporting at 60 frames per second may assist in minimizing the shaking if you run into it. 30 FPS and 60 FPS are the most common currently used frames per second settings. There is a quality setting here. We have completed lots of testing with this setting, and lowering the quality does not lower the file size of the exported file, nor does it make the rendering process any faster. Keep your quality at 100%. The only thing that we could find that lowering the quality does is make your doodle look bad. Constrain aspect ratio allows you to create doodles that are not standard. we must select Custom in the resolution to work with the width and height of the doodle and the Constrain Aspect Ratio checkbox. When the Constrain Aspect Ratio checkbox is selected, when we update one of the parameters, Doodly will automatically update the other. With the checkbox deselected, we are now able to make our own non-standard size. Clicking Continue will export the file to your computer. Scene settings provide the ability to adjust each scene independently from the rest of the doodle. We can perform a lot of the same functionality as the video settings. The checkbox in the upper left tells Doodly whether to use the default settings or use the settings within the scene. Unchecking this box will allow editing of the scene's settings. We can change the canvas style and have the ability to use whiteboard, dark chalkboard, green chalkboard, glassboard, and custom, which can host a custom color or image background. There's a lot that's changed in the latest version of Doodly, and the exit animations are one of them. The older version, like what is shown here, shows a drop-down menu. This is changed to an icon button layout. The exit animation remains the same, however, including none, swipe left, swipe right, swipe up, swipe down, and erase. We have a dedicated video tutorial all about exit animations and scene transitions. Watch that video for more detailed information about this subject. Extra time at the end is really additional end of scene time. This allows for more time to be added before transitioning to the next scene with minimal allowed time of 1/2 second. There is a dedicated end of scene time chapter explaining the importance of this subject in detail in our scene transitions video tutorial. Subtitles allows you to create subtitles for that scene. Subtitles are not closed captions. A subtitle is a static sentence on the scene that does not move. Closed captions are the words on the screen that allow change to indicate when noise is happening, like people clapping or music playing. There is no method of adjusting the placement of the subtitles. If you find the placement of your subtitles in the middle of your doodle after exporting your project, check the resolution size in your video settings to ensure that it matches your exported resolution. As with all text within Doodly, in this version and up until version 2.6.8, Doodly still does not have a spell check, so use Microsoft Word or Google Docs to ensure spelling and grammar are correct before placing it into Doodly. Time to discuss the playhead. We can move our cursor over the top of the playhead and then click and hold our left mouse button down. This will allow us to drag the playhead around the timeline, and if we have the show preview window open, we can see what is happening in real time as the playhead moves over the timeline. Speaking of the show preview embedded viewing window, we can increase and decrease the size of the window by opening and closing the objects library and the actions area section. On a smaller screen, it will make it easier to see the doodle to make changes when the show preview window is increased in size. For all intents and purposes, the term objects and assets are used synonymously in Doodly. They are essentially the same thing without going into minute detail. If we need to increase or decrease the size of the canvas, we can use the zoom functionality, improperly labeled as tools. Dragging layers serves two purposes. Doodly draws these items top to bottom, paying attention to the delay and the duration settings. The bottom layer is also the top layer on the canvas. This can tend to get a little confusing since the top layer is the first one to be drawn, but also the bottom layer on the canvas, and vice versa when you're talking about the bottom layer in the layer section or the top layer on the canvas. We can delete an asset by selecting it and clicking the garbage can. By default, Doodly is set to stop when the video timeline stops. This setting can be set to stop when both the video timeline and the audio timeline stops. We can see here that the audio timeline goes way beyond the video timeline. Let's see what it takes to shorten that audio file. This process is rather tedious. There is no crop tool in Doodly. This means scrolling all the way to the end of the song, aligning your cursor up exactly over a very small line, clicking the left mouse button down and holding it and dragging it off the screen, and then performing this action repeatedly until you get the audio length where you want it. There is no snap function or zoom function on the timeline to align the audio, so you need to manually eye the alignment using the needle of the playhead. Additionally, shortening an audio file does not make the exported file size any smaller. The entire full-size audio file is exported even if you shrink it back to a portion. After the audio length is resized, you can do quite a bit with the audio file, such as fade in or fade out the audio, duplicate a track, or even delete a track, all completed with a right click. We can add multiple audio tracks, so we can drag the audio file down to the next audio timeline. The trick I'm showing you here is how to properly fade in and out an audio to make a smooth transition of the music when needing to continue the music without it stopping. We have an entire video dedicated to working with MP3 audio files in Doodly. Watch that video for more detailed information on what to do in Doodly. Let's take a little deeper look at the layers section. We'll close the show preview for right now and drag some assets onto the canvas. The assets I'm using are part of the Enterprise package. Anything you see with a green shield means that I've paid more money for the Enterprise membership to have the additional characters. There. That's enough assets on the canvas. Look at the layers section on the right hand side of the window. There's a tiny scroll bar over here. Doodly developers love their tiny, frustrating scroll bars that you can barely click on with your mouse. There are three main areas to work with to keep your doodle at a realistic speed, two of which we will speak about in the layer section. Number 1, delay. This will allow you to enter an amount of time to pause before the next asset is revealed from the canvas. I find 1/2 second delay works great in between asset drawings, but you may desire more depending on the project. Number 2, duration. This is the amount of time it takes for Doodly to reveal that asset on the canvas. This setting will change drastically depending on if the hand is being utilized for the reveal, if it is a text or image asset, if the reveal mode is set to fade instead of draw. If using the hand to reveal, smaller image assets can be revealed with less duration to provide the realism effect, whilst larger image assets can take more time to reveal. Fading looks good within anywhere from 1.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. A good rule of thumb for text assets is 0.3 seconds per 4 to 5 character word. That would increase with larger character length words and decrease with smaller character length words. Doodly is excellent about automatically setting a believable time for drawing text assets as you increase the text. We're going to give these assets random duration times. Replacing an asset on the canvas is simple. Drag the asset from the objects library and drop it onto another asset on the canvas. A message will appear. Are you going to replace the image with a no, add, or a yes, replace? Choose yes, replace to remove the old asset and add a new one in its place, or no, add to add the new asset without removing the old one. Let's add a bunch more assets on the canvas. I would like to show you how to auto scroll in the layers section in Doodly. Doodly does not have the ability to number your layers, or to drag more than one layer at a time, even though you can highlight more than one layer at a time. This means dragging and dropping a lot of layers manually, so learning to auto scroll when you have a lot of layers is essential, especially since you can only see 3 1/4 layers at a time on a smaller screen. Auto scrolling has been made a bunch easier since other doodlers and I complained about the design, and I submitted a new design idea showing where a few of the faults within Doodly UI were located. If I knew they were going to accept my idea, I would have submitted a complete redesign of the UI. To auto scroll, simply drag the desired layer to the top or bottom of the layers section to automatically scroll through the layers. You can see as I drag the layer past each other layer, when I set it down, the assets on the canvas change their placements. Remember, the top object in the layers section gets revealed first, but will be shown behind everything on the canvas, essentially making it the bottom layer of the assets on the canvas. And the bottom object in the layers section gets revealed last, but it's on top of everything on the canvas, essentially making it the top of the assets on the canvas. Chapter 7 wasn't as long as it seemed. We learned a lot in a short amount of time. Hey, that's it for this video, but not for the rest of the information on this channel. Here are some more videos to help you keep learning. Click that subscribe button and tap that notification bell for more Doodly tips and tricks. Let's make a deal. You keep watching the videos and I'll keep creating the content.